So we're going to continue with a category of naming with care. And today the title of our talk is Contemplative, Introspection Meditation, and Wandering Meditation.
So contemplation is usually typically done on an object, a scripture, a sutta, a discourse. Um, this is also done in many different kind of traditions. It's done in Tibetan Buddhism pretty commonly. It's done in Christianity pretty commonly. And the term has really been coined, I'd say, in the traditions of Christian mysticism and contemplative prayer.
Right. Yes. And in reflective meditation, we don't tell you what to contemplate, though we are inviting you to contemplate, because we do these smaller Dharma talks. We've come up with the term Dharma prompt, like we're just kind of priming the wheel, whetting your appetite. Um, and and we also do this with the intention to allow you to pay attention to whatever's going on with yourself. So it's not so strong as to be the focus of what you have to contemplate.
Right. And we always tell people, with the Dharma prompts, you could do this or you could see where or do wherever you go with your meditation. So we're very soft on that. Um, so you can pay attention to what's coming up for you, what matters to you most. Um, and that's the wandering part. That's why we added the wandering in, because really, so what we're trying to get at is that contemplation, as it's often done in other traditions, is without the wandering, without the invitation to wander, is really a different practice. It really unfolds differently. It's really different.
Right, right. And with a single topic, a single instruction, a single thing that you should be doing within a contemplation practice, we've broadened it out to say that's one thing that you could be doing. And when you wander, we're really bringing in the other titles that we could have called our practice: creative meditation, questioning meditation, free association. We're really inviting so many more conditions into the practice by opening up that wandering.
Now, contemplation is intrinsically about thought. Of course, thought is it's that line, it's all above my head. This is not the kind of thinking we're describing. Of course, it's grounded in with feelings, or it's included with feelings and with sensations. However, reflective meditation compared to at least insight meditation, which is my reference point experientially, is very thought friendly.
Yeah, yeah. We listened to a podcast recently where Joseph Goldstein was quoted as and quoted and actually given adage, given kind of homage to this statement that thoughts are little more than nothing. And that reference of them being little more than nothing, like don't pay any attention to them, just keep letting them go. They're not going to bring you anything. Don't contemplate them, is what I hear with that kind of statement.
Right. And we have really a very different view, don't we, Linda? Which is thoughts are important, leaning more towards contemplation and wise and developing the capacity to have wiser thoughts,
Right.
more kind thoughts, more what other words would you add in there?
Our usual friendly thoughts, but also, let's say, deeper thoughts. There's something about staying with your thinking that like on the surface, like you said, we're not like advocating kind of obsessive thought. Let's get more of it. Um, we're
No,
we're saying that
definitely not.
hopefully that drops away, and that there's other kinds of thinking that you come to know, and that carries out into your life in circumstances where you do have to think, like, what do I do next? I mean, you really do have to think in your life.
I think you just nailed it for me, which is what I love about the practice, which is when the deeper thinking starts to happen. And
Yeah.
it's not something I can depend upon every meditation by a long shot. But when it happens, I feel like that's my, that's the best
Hmm.
part for me.
Well, sometimes they feel like aha for you, like insight or something new or a different angle or different perspective. I mean, I think that would be often called an insight or something
Yeah,
like that.
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
But it also has that quality of somehow feeling deeper, like
Yeah.
we've gone below
Yeah.
the surface of the
Yeah.
usual ways of thinking and it's operating differently,
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
process.
Mm. I remember early on in practice, a student came into this approach and came up with this analogy, which we're always looking for in kind of metaphors and analogies that talk about the practice. And she said, "Oh, it's kind of like you allowed me to take my dog out for a walk in a park and gave me a really long leash. Like I could just go so many different places that I haven't been allowed to go, and I can even go willy-nilly for a while." And I remember kind of adding on that, yes, and you get to know when you need to rein the leash back in and not go so far abroad or so far, amok. And that really becomes your own practice, is knowing when to allow the mind to run and when it has to be a little bit more grounded or brought back to an anchor.
Yeah, that is really the skill, isn't it? That is really the practice. I mean, that is one big way to describe it. And you learn that from experience, not from
Yeah.
doing a guided meditation, but from really going through the experience of having it run too willy-nilly. See what happens when it's too willy-nilly. See what happens when it's too tight a leash, you know.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
of course, it's different at different moments. And so
Yeah.
learning how to navigate.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually interesting, Nelly, how you said not necessarily through a guided meditation. Our guidance is different in this. We're really saying you have to go out and explore this and do this. We're here with you, but we're not going to guide you through it. We're going to listen when you come back.
Right, right. It's very different. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. We could find a word for that. But I can't find it right now. I'll have to contemplate that.
Good, good.
So, you know, what other practices do you do that allow quiet time for you to think about your life? Or another way of putting that question is, um, do you value reflective meditation or the aspect of reflective meditation that really gives you quiet time to think about your life and for you to wander about and see where it leads?
So that's our prompt for this morning.
But I
And
got
again,
no,
oh,
wait,
go ahead.
there's more to it.
Oh, oh, I
I was
thought,
going to pause for you to do the more, but I'll do the more.
oh,
I'm
you go ahead.
okay. Which because I added to this when Linda wasn't looking apparently. To question your thoughts, to relive situations. There's a lot here. To integrate what happened in your daily life recently and maybe and in the past. That's what we hear. We're not like worrying about just being in the present. We want to integrate the past too. And but then there's the future. We're not we're all for the future, to think about it in a deeper way, to think about what you want to do today and in the days to come, really bringing the practice of life inward. So that
So
is
you have
long
some time. Yeah,
prompt.
that's a long prompt, but you have some time to contemplate and wander, encouragement to do so, and to think about the prompt or to do something else.
Wander about.
Your choice.